Booking's vision is to make every trip a connected trip. We are not just a platform for booking accommodations. We have a whole connected trip experience available on Booking. And this is where we are adding value to the each level of ecosystem of travel. Spending money, staying in 5-star is not a big deal, right? People are willing to spend money. But what value are they getting out of that money is what Vietnamese customers really care about. That emotive selling is still very, very important when you sell to humans, but future is to sell to agentic AI. One of the biggest platforms, travel platforms in the world, right? Comes with a great responsibility that we have to facilitate this connection and build the ecosystem. So this is how we've been adding value to our suppliers.
Welcome to another episode of Chat.Travel. This week we have another special guest with us today. When was your last time booking a hotel? How do you make the reservation in a hotel nowadays? You may have your own answer, but for me, I would just, very, very swiftly make a booking on booking.com. It's the fastest, easiest way to make a hotel reservation. Mostly everywhere you go. I don't know about a place that doesn't have hotels on booking.com. And booking.com is one of the biggest travel company. I don't want to say the biggest, one of the biggest, and I have to say it's biggest in the industry. And today we are pleasure with honor to welcome to our studio Mr. Varun Grover, country manager, booking.com, Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, and Myanmar. Welcome, Varun. How are you today?
Thank you so much, Tanmay. I'm super happy to be here. I know we've been planning this chat for a while now. So thank you so much. I'm very honored that you're calling me to have this insightful discussion with your audience.
It's actually our pleasure. The team has been telling me that you get Varun on the studio. What is difficult, very, very challenging task, to be honest. We've had, high level guests, but this is the first time we had somebody from one of the biggest travel company in the world. So let's begin with yourself. Can you introduce to our audience a little bit about you, Varun, where you come from, what are your backgrounds, and what inspired you to be working at booking.com here in Vietnam?
Sure. So like you mentioned earlier, I'm the country manager for booking.com, looking after our business accommodations, business operations for accommodation segment in Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, and Myanmar. I've been living in Saigon for 3 years now, but I've been with booking.com as a company for 10 years. So this is actually my 10th year with the company. And I've been into various roles. My background is in hotels. I've worked in hotel sales and marketing, which I thoroughly loved. And there was a time somewhere in 13 or 14, I started seeing the shift in the overall distribution landscape. Clearly, a lot of offline business was moving towards online. Not just independent customers, but also corporate customers were starting to look and book online. And that's when, I was very clear that to continue reinventing myself as a professional, I had to look towards OTAs, which was a great growing story in those days, right? And even today, it continues to grow its business. So yeah, that's how the shift happened for me. I joined booking.com in India. I'm an Indian in Gurgaon, New Delhi. And then I helped for them to set up operations to develop a team which looks after some of our key hotel chains. So until then, booking.com had a smaller team and we were directly talking to partners, but there was a need for us to work closely with some of our key group accounts. And these were global chains and regional chains in India. So I had set up the overall playbook of how we manage this partnership and help them grow their business on booking.com. Then somewhere in 2017, 18, again, there was an opportunity for us to grow our alternative accommodation segment. Hotels, resorts continues to stay one of our strong pillar of revenue generation, but there are a lot of customers today who are looking for villas and apartments and, different kind of alternative accommodations to book. Homestays in Vietnam is very popular. So in 2017, I moved to Singapore to work in our strategy team and developing overall infrastructure for various countries in Asia Pacific to help grow this supply segment. So yeah, worked there for a few years, worked on new innovations to onboard new properties fast, so that they are not waiting in pipeline to get active on booking.com. And post COVID, when we really had to be very strategic in which markets in APAC we invest in and grow further, there was an opportunity for me to come and take this general management role for Vietnam and Thailand at that time, half of Thailand, looking after south of Thailand. So I moved to Saigon, and yeah, since then I've been here because I love this country as a tourism destination. Firstly, it's got everything from mountains to beaches to urban life. Infrastructure is great for having access to basic necessities as an expat. Great international schools. I have a 9-year-old son, so they love it. My wife also works in Saigon. So yeah, it's been a great in that sense that Vietnam is very comfortable for any international professional to settle in. But also, we are in tourism business, and it's the most fastest growing market in Asia Pacific, and also one of the fastest in the world. So immense opportunities to capture new age travelers from Vietnam at this right time, because this is the time when they are getting exposed to the global travel. And booking.com, being a global company, feels that it's so important for us to have strong presence in the market. So yeah, I've been now living in Saigon, like I said, for 3 years, and developing a lot of new strategies for the company to market our brand well, support our partners on ground, and make sure that we continue to grow this partnership together.
Excellent, excellent. And a lot of people knows Booking.com as as an OTA, as a digital travel company, and and I think the most people that are familiar with Booking.com is that when they want to book hotel, they go there and they book hotel, and that's it, right? But a lot of things that people don't know about Booking.com and Booking Holding, which is the mother company. Will you be able to give us, the audience, a quick overview of Booking.com and Booking Holding, for example? What has this evolved in terms of uh, crafting the world's one of the most leading travel company in the world today?
Sure. So booking.com, like you mentioned, is synonymous with booking accommodations, right? In past, people would only think of booking.com to book hotels and resorts. But over the years, I think now most people understand that we are not just a hotel and resort booking website, but we have various kinds of alternative accommodation, from camp stays to villas to geets to homestays to resorts and luxury apartments. Everything is bookable on booking.com. We today in fact have more than 23 million listings which a customer can book. And it's a Dutch company, so it started in Netherlands somewhere in late 1990s, and gradually, it was acquired by our parent company, which used to be known as Priceline.com. So Priceline Group was the one which bought Booking.com, and today Booking definitely contributes to a high revenue for the overall holding company. So even the company now is called Booking Holding. That's the rebranding it went through a few years back. So yeah, primarily, it's a Dutch company. Our headquarters is in Netherlands, Amsterdam, and the holding company is Booking Holding, which also owns various other companies like OpenTable, Kayak, Agoda in Asia, and of course Booking.com. So that's about booking. How it has evolved over the years, I would say it's a long story. I can talk about it for 1 hour, but just to give you a gist of how it has been, evolving into not just a platform for booking accommodation, but really, really adding value to the overall journey of a customer when they are booking their itinerary, is that, of course, in terms of accommodation, we today have the right depth and breadth of supply across all the major markets where people travel to. But Booking's vision is to make every trip a connected trip. And what connected trip basically means is that it's not just your accommodation, it's also what flight you're taking to reach that destination and book a hotel. After you reach that destination, what are you doing? What kind of activities, attractions, experiences are you looking for? Even that is something which is very much important part of a consumer's journey. Also, how you are planning your logistics on ground, what kind of transportation you're using. So at booking.com today, we are not just a platform for booking accommodations. We have a whole connected trip experience available on booking. And this is where we are adding value to the each level of ecosystem of travel, where we have various suppliers from various travel segments working with us, and continuously we kind of enhance value for them by bringing customers who are kind of making use of all these services.
I think that is not just a revenue generation opportunity, but it's more importantly, you keep the customers on the same platform where they don't need to go somewhere else to book transportation, tours, or even what if they want to book a car rental, for example, then they can everything can be done right on one single platform.
Absolutely. I mean, of course, it comes with added revenue streams, but that's not the only reason. It's about how we can add more value to our existing suppliers. So imagine if I'm a customer today coming to Danang, where your wonderful company Travel Through is located, right? From, let's say, New Delhi. I'm from New Delhi, India. And I'm only booking a hotel here. And if tomorrow I change my mind, right, I don't want to book in one hotel, I want to go to another hotel or another destination altogether, it's very easy for me to just book that, right? Because I'm not very clear on the overall itinerary I want to experience. But imagine if I have already planned my travel so well that I have booked a hotel in Da Nang, I've booked a transportation already, my flights are booked, it gives me some peace of mind, right? And maybe I still have flexibility to change, but maybe I'll think twice because I'm kind of already experiencing that seamless connected trip booking, right? And that reduces cancellations too. So I think that's the value we add to our existing suppliers, that it's no longer just about getting you customers, but we also try to make sure that we reduce cancellations. We increase their peripheral spend with your services by offering them spas and various facilities which are available in the destination. So yeah, it's more about that. And for customers, it's also very easy. They don't have to go to multiple platforms to make different bookings. Everything can be booked on just one platform, which is booking.com. They are secure in terms of how their payments are being managed because our systems are one of the most secured systems. And also they don't have to talk to different customer services team. It's all one platform, and that just makes things so much simpler for everybody.
A one-stop shop.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about the distribution landscape, which is one of the major thing Booking.com is doing right now. You being the country manager in Vietnam for a couple of years now, and the regional area as well. It's not just one country. How has you seen the distribution landscape in the hospitality has changed in the past, let's say, 5 years?
Yeah, past 5 years since COVID have really changed a lot in e-commerce space. More and more people are getting more comfortable with using technology, which means that the share of travelers who are booking online today has increased exponentially, right? And to complement that, tourism volumes are also growing. So obviously, to adapt to this changing traveler trend, our suppliers, whether it's hotel accommodations or it's transportation providers or attraction providers, they also need to evolve, right? So no longer we see that hotels are relying on just offline channels to distribute their offerings, but they are adapting new technology. Like I see our penetration of hotels which are using channel managers or PMS systems, revenue management capabilities has increased exponentially in the last 5 years. And it's only growing. It's only growing. More and more hoteliers are becoming more aware of how these technologies can help them to enhance their margins. and get more customers online. So yeah, I see a lot of potential in Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, and Myanmar. Um, and definitely, there's so much more we can accomplish together.
Absolutely. Let's zoom in a little bit about Vietnam.
Yes.
What is different? Like what are the main thing that significant Vietnam from other countries that you're managing? For example, what the Vietnamese customer, their behaviors, or how they make the booking. What's the difference here between Vietnam and amongst other countries?
I will point out differences, but before that, I also want to touch upon that there are a lot of similarities, especially in Southeast Asian regional travelers. They are mobile first, so for sure, everybody takes out their mobile and searches for their travel, whether it's accommodation or any kind of experiences on mobile first. But what's also interesting is that not always the booking is made on mobile. Because if you try and understand, you are a traveler yourself, right? So there is so much more research one has to do to really understand the destination, especially if they are not very, if they are a leisure traveler. For business traveler, maybe it's very easy. I'm going to have meetings in this part of the town. This is a reputed hotel. Let me just book it. But for leisure travelers, they spend a lot of time to research destination, which is bit cumbersome on mobile device. So they look at device first, look at which properties are offering them the best value, and then they go to desktop. And the booking is actually made on desktop because they look at fine prints, read all policies, they want to be very comfortable with the payment process. So that's a trend which is very similar across Southeast Asian customers. Having said that, mobile is definitely the first platform they touch upon. So we definitely get a huge share of our bookings from mobiles too. So that's the similarity, right? Where things are unique for Vietnamese travelers versus other Asian travelers would be, I would say there are few things which clearly stand out, especially for the last 2 years we are observing. The booking window has been increasing. So in past, especially for domestic customers, we were getting a lot of bookings within the week itself. Like there were these impromptu plans being made and people were just booking hotels. But I guess due to few factors, so the airline costs have increased over time. Also, there are a lot of long holidays now, which are well planned in advance. We see that booking windows for domestic customers also has been going up.
So there are less last minute booking.
There are lesser last minute bookings compared to earlier, but yeah, even today, a lot of customers, especially for destinations which are closer to urban hubs like Hanoi, Da Nang, or Ho Chi Minh, like places like Mui Ne, Vung Tau, they get a lot of last minute bookings.
Because they can drive, so they
They
don't
can drive.
depends on the airlines.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But if you want to go to
Absolutely.
Dalat from Hanoi, then
Yes.
you definitely have to
Need to
make a
plan
reservation.
earlier, yes.
You know that in the next couple of days here, I don't know when this episode will be aired, but in the next couple of days, we'll have one of the longest and biggest holiday in Vietnam. And all the rooms in Ho Chi Minh City, most of the rooms are fully booked. I know even Hilton and a few hotels, they are charging $2,000 for a room with a view directly to the area where they do the main celebrations, and it's sold out. A few months ago already. It's not just today, but here in Da Nang, where we as a Da Nang local, when we want to travel to places like Hue or even to Quy Nhơn or Pleiku, the few provinces that you can drive there, we just book it right before we travel, because those are less popular destination. There's less people go there, and then but the challenge is the accommodation variety there is much less. We don't have much choice. You mentioned earlier about villas and homestay and hotels. In the less popular destination, there's a fewer option for local travel like us. So that's been one of the challenges why we book last minutes. And as a business traveler myself, I don't care about price, basically. Whatever most convenient for me to get to the destination, to the conference center. But as a man of the family, when I travel with my family, for example, I have to factor in a lot of things, right? Not only the price, but it has to be family friendly at the pool with for the kids club, yes, and a lot of other things that I search around. And to complement the point that you mentioned earlier about being, the when a traveler they make the decision, what I see is different as well is for us, when we go for family, we tend to search in different places. We do a lot of research. Booking.com is one of them. For me, sometimes I search the price on Booking.com, then I call the hotel. Hey, I see this price on Booking.com. You have a better price. You never know what's going to happen. Yeah. So sometimes you see them on mobile, as you mentioned earlier, yes, but the behavior in the end is very different. Yeah, and I also see that in other countries, especially in Europe and in the US as well, um, they just book everything on one platform. But the challenge here with the Vietnamese people, because I'm Vietnamese, I know that we book everything differently.
Yeah.
Hotel, flight, we book in one channel. Hotel, we book one
And
place.
why is that? What's the reason behind that?
The reason behind it is, I think, because we do research and the competition among those where they are strongest. For example, let me give you an example. Booking.com, flights. We can find other places with better price on airline, and they give us invoice, the VAT invoice, where some of the services doesn't have an invoice. This is one of the reasons. And then that's why I asked this, because
I mean, I understand that point, right? And it's very natural. I think today's traveler is very well aware, right? It's no longer about just sticking to one brand and being loyal to one brand only.
exactly.
Because information is so easily accessible, right? As a traveler today I can go to multiple websites, even meta search engines, and see what property is selling at different platforms, right? So clearly, this is where the opportunity is. What it means for suppliers, whether it's hotel accommodations or attractions, is to look at their overall distribution mix. Because sometimes we see that a supplier wants to position their property and sell at a particular price point, but then there are some other channels where some probably offline rate leakage is happening, right? Or someone is offering some funny coupon discount and blah, blah, blah. And as a supplier, they don't even have control over that pricing. So what it leads to is a long-term dilution of their brand.
Exactly.
And their own control over how they want to sustainably grow their revenue over time, right? So it's a challenge, right? What it means for customers is that, yes, we all want the best value, but what we also care for is safety. We care for security. We care that when we reach a destination, we should have something we can stay. And especially for Vietnamese travelers, a lot of Vietnamese these days are traveling with family. It's no longer a solo travel or just a couple. And sometimes it's even multi-generational traveler.
Exactly.
We every year we do this travel prediction report where we survey more than 1,000 Vietnamese customers, and almost 88% of them said that they want to travel with their parents, but children, everybody together. So when you're traveling as a family, you don't want to book an accommodation where some funny business is happening and you land there and you see a different product. Maybe property even doesn't exist. It happens, right?
Yes,
Being in trade, we know what crazy things are going on, right? So where booking has an advantage is that we really make sure that we get the right accommodations on our platform. We have a thorough process in place to get the curated supply. We have humans working on that curation. We have algorithms and machine learning models making sure that we do not onboard fraud properties. And then we make sure that we continue to enhance the value these properties are providing to customers so that customers get delighted, right? It's always about customer centricity and how can we make the experience better. So that's where I would say that booking has a competitive advantage even in a market like Vietnam. Where we do feel challenged is the price war, which is happening. Sometimes it's not even from suppliers. it's just randomly coming. These discounts are originating from various online channel platforms,
New
right?
one, like
New ones who are
yeah.
trying to grab market share.
Exactly. And they're willing to cut their profit.
Absolutely. And second is the overall technology adoption. So, like you mentioned, there are a lot of these small destinations in and around Da Nang, but also like, other cities like Ho Chi Minh and Hanoi, where there are a lot of mom and pop businesses, right? There are small entrepreneurs, a grandmother of, I don't know, local community who's running just a homestay, and they don't know how to manage internet platforms, right? They don't know how to manage booking.com extranet. So that's a big challenge
Yeah.
too. What we are doing to overcome that is that we have a team on ground. So we have a team of account managers who manage different markets across Vietnam. It's a big country. And we go to these destinations, we work with local tourism authorities. We are also very open to opportunities to work with government. And we do these workshops in market to build awareness and educate these small businesses to get the best opportunity to market their properties online and increase their online share of business. And we've had some great success stories. So hopefully next time you go on a holiday, you can find some unique accommodations on booking.com too, because that's like a constant work we are doing by working with not just businesses directly, but also destination management organization, by working with government groups, tourism authorities.
A lot of works are being done just to have the right property listed to the right customer, right? And what are some other unique things about Vietnamese consumer that from your data and your research you can share with us? For example, are the Vietnamese, because we are Vietnamese, right? But a lot of we don't have the statistic, right? Are they sensitive to price still? I mean, many years ago.
I think everybody is sensitive to price. This trend has only become even more stronger across the globe, right? In past, we were seeing that Asian customers, especially, were very price sensitive. But then in other geographies, probably they were more experience driven, and little bit of price sensitivity did not matter. But it's changing. I think today every customer, whether in Europe, North America, Asia Pacific, or Middle East, they all care about how much money they are spending, and they want to get the best value out of each buck they spend. Basically, it's also to do with global economic conditions, right? So Vietnamese consumers are not unique in that sense. They really, really care about prices. And more than prices, what they care about, the value they are getting. So spending money, staying in five-star is not a big deal, right? People are willing to spend money. But what value are they getting out of that money is what Vietnamese customers really care about. I spoke about our travel prediction report 2025, right? Where one of the trends was the multi-generational travel. But apart from that, I'll talk about two other mega trends we are seeing, especially for Vietnam. So one is night tourism. It might come as a surprise, but
Night tourism?
Night tourism. So a lot of Vietnamese customers are telling us, almost 74% of respondents, that they want to experience night tourism. And this is not just nightlife of party and all, but they want to see stargazing, constellation viewing. Uh, they, I guess one of the reasons could also be that I've realized in Vietnam, a lot of people don't like sun. They, am I right?
Especially my wife.
I think most men and women in Vietnam are very conscious of not
the sunlight.
exposing
Yeah.
themselves
To
to
the sun, yeah.
sunlight. So this trend has come up. It has surprised all of us, but clearly there is demand for night tourism experiences where, maybe in places like Phong Nha, beautiful limestone caves and near Khas mountains. There could be certain products which can be developed to view the night sky, no noise pollution, no light pollution. So that trend is becoming very prominent in Vietnam too. Second thing I would say is also what's unique is travel to beach. And I think it's connected to what I mentioned earlier, that it's getting too hot in Vietnam. Beaches still remain the most popular tourist attraction during holidays. Hotels in places like Da Nang, Cam Ranh get sold out very easily. Vung Tau near Ho Chi Minh, always packed whenever there is a long holiday. But gradually, we are also seeing a huge demand for other kind of experiences, especially in mountains. So whether it's Sapa or it's Dalat or it's Haziang, we see these destinations really picking up very fast.
The Central Highland in Vietnam is a huge potential as
It's
well.
beautiful. It's beautiful. So yeah, it's good for the overall destination also, because I feel some of the beaches are over leveraged. It's been marketed so much that there is over tourism and everybody goes to these places, which is not unique anymore. So these new destinations are actually making Vietnam as an overall destination more vibrant.
More diverse, vibrant, right?
And when people travel there, put their stories on Instagram, give reviews on booking.com about great new accommodations they are seeing, it only helps global travelers to get exposed to the real beauty of Vietnam.
So do you see the Vietnamese being loyal to platforms like booking.com? Do they show loyalty to platforms?
It's very difficult for me to answer that. But to give you a perspective from the data I see, as being from booking.com, we've been growing our loyalty base. So as you know, on booking.com, we have a program called
Genius, yes. I'm level 3.
Wonderful. And how often do you book with booking.com?
Quite a lot.
Quite a lot,
Yeah,
right?
I go to Hoi An Hue every week, every 2 weeks. Mainly on booking.com.
Yes, yes. So booking.com has been definitely growing its base of genius customers across Vietnamese population. I don't have numbers right now, but for sure it's growing very fast. Why it's growing is because our user experience, right? In booking.com, we do tons of A/B testing and experimentation to understand consumer behavior on our platform, right? And we try to make it easier for them always to book an accommodation, understand the property, facilities, and content very clearly. So that's like a constant effort from our side. And in when we do that, it just brings a natural brand affinity for a customer, because they know they can trust this website, which is so easy to book. Then our customer service serves more than 24, 23 languages now. I have to keep account because we keep adding new languages. But whether you are an Arabic speaker or a Tagalog speaker or Khmer or English, French, booking.com serves all kinds of languages. So as a customer, when you call our customer service, whenever you need some modification in booking, or if you're stuck with something, it's very easy to talk to someone who understands your culture, your language. So that also builds brand affinity. And we invest a lot on providing added benefits to our Genius members. Like for Genius 3, you get free breakfast in a lot of accommodations. There's also added value advantage. And constantly there are new products which are being launched where our hotel partners are willing to give higher value to Genius customers, because they see, Genius customers are spending more on peripherals when they travel to these hotels. Their cancellations are much lower. They are more value driven travel.
They stay more, save more.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and spend more.
Spend more.
Okay. Another question I'd like to ask you about localization, since you're the head of Booking.com for Vietnam, right?
Yes.
So when it comes to localization, you localize their language, which is
Yes.
Booking.com has, the currency, which is the Vietnamese dong right now. What are the localization method or practices that you're applying to grow the Vietnamese community uses of Booking.com? For example, everybody here in Vietnam, we use Zalo. Have you heard of that? You have Zalo, right?
I have Zalo.
Yes. So what are the other practices that Booking.com is working on Vietnam to localize the market?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, of course, we are a global company, so a lot of product innovations we do, we try to make it globally scalable, because see, it's not just about giving a localized experience to a traveler booking for Vietnam, right? It's about making sure that whoever's coming to booking.com to book an accommodation, they get a similar experience across the boundaries. So while being very localized is important, and I envy a lot of companies who are able to just completely adapt their business model and product to be localized. But at the same time, where competitive advantage for booking.com lies is the scalability and the globalized travelers which we bring to all our destinations. So there are a lot of innovations we do on the global side which are more scalable. Having said that, we are also very focused on what's happening in the market, and we try to localize as much as possible. So like you mentioned, our customer service is very localized. So we have, customer service agents who speak Vietnamese. We do a lot of marketing which is locally oriented. So we do a lot of blogs and, a lot of SEO enhancing marketing for our accommodation partners, where we talk about local destinations, we talk about local trends, local holidays. So from a marketing perspective, it's completely localized. We do a lot of influencer campaigns to make sure that we are promoting destination amongst the local audience. And from product innovation side also, we try to learn constantly. And if there are certain things we can probably, let me give you an example of payments, right? Like in different countries, there are different kind of payment methods.
E-wallet.
Exactly, right? So like in Korea, which is one of the biggest inbound markets, South Korea is biggest inbound market for Vietnam, China and South Korea. Both the customers are using different methods. In China, it's mostly Alipay,
WeChat Pay.
right? WeChat Pay. While in South Korea, it's Naver Pay,
Yeah.
right?
Or Samsung Pay.
Or Samsung
Kakao Pay.
Kakao Pay.
Yes.
So we try to adapt our model accordingly. So for South Korean customer, it's easy to make payments via their own local relevant payment methods, while for Chinese, it's easier to use their own methods. That's where the localization element actually comes into realization for us. Right.
Yeah. So from the supply side, what are the things you are seeing from the hotels owners, the revenue management team when it's come to adapting new technology on revenue management strategy? Is there any challenges for the hotel owner, especially the small hotels, when it's come to Booking.com distribution strategy and technology uses?
Yeah. Like I was sharing earlier, right? So overall, I see that there is an increased adoption of technology and tools related to revenue management and channel synchronization, effective pricing management. So that is helping. But but Vietnam is huge. Like we have more than 27,000 properties listed on our platform.
27,000. Wow.
Right? So while with having lot of global chains increasing their presence in Vietnam, and lot of local chains also, like Mung Than Grove, Vinpearl, right, investing so much into hospitality, we see that overall market is becoming it's developing fast towards better managing pricing, and that elasticity of maintaining demand versus supply attractiveness. So they are doing well, but at the same time, there are a lot of properties which just increase their price the moment demand goes high, or just
They
drop
increase.
the price when suddenly they see that, oh, my hotel is running empty.
But they have the reason to do so, right? Logical, no?
I mean, I don't think so. I think if I am a hotel owner, right, having know what I know, being in this business for almost 20 years now, working in hospitality, just increasing prices, looking at demand, or dropping prices when demand isn't being captured by you is not a great strategy. I think one has to really look at what are the levers on which demand is based, right? And it has to be a long term strategy, which means understanding the market well, understanding what are the new capabilities being built in terms of overall airlift capacity to the city, right? Understanding who your competition is, who the real competition is. Am I only competing with same star category hotels, or is some small hotel next to me is also getting business because they have a great room, right? They may not have an elaborate lobby, but they provide excellent value addition to customers with free spa, or I don't know, free mini bar, and their rooms are nice, the view is great. So that is also my competition. Understanding these factors well, and then after factoring those triggers which kind of impact your conversion of lookers to bookers, having a clear pricing strategy is important. And just dropping rates doesn't help, because if today you give an impression to consumer that, oh, closer to booking date I'm willing to drop rates, that consumer will never book you well in advance. They will always book you last minute.
Yeah, because it's cheap.
It's cheap closer to date, right? So then you lose that advantage of really yielding closer to date, because you don't have a proper base which has already been booked by a customer. So I think it's being more strategic, which is a continuous effort from our side also, because what our market managers do is that they regularly visit markets like Da Nang, or Cam Ranh, Hanoi, major key cities in Vietnam, to do workshops with our partners, one-to-one meeting with hotel partners, but also because, like I said, we have more than 27,000 properties working with us. We try to do a lot of webinars. So every month we do at least 2 to 3 webinars, and our small hospitality partners can join us. It's in Vietnamese because our team is Vietnamese speaker, and we talk about specific topics, right, ranging from hotel technologies to revenue management to managing, our credit terms well, and payment systems. So those kind of things, how to enhance certain campaigns these properties are running. So we do a lot of this educational workshop for our partners at scale, which I'm hoping can help them to being more strategic when it comes to pricing their property. Right. Because to be honest, I would really want Vietnam to become to be seen as not just the cheap, affordable alternative to our neighbors, right, but really a destination in itself, which provides a great economic value to the industry, but also is seen as a luxury destination, because we've got the best beaches. Like living in Vietnam, I can see that one of the best destinations for beach holidays is Vietnam. One of the best destination to enjoy wellness resorts is Vietnam. The quality of resorts, the space, the lush green beauty,
The investment of the owner, they put a lot of effort.
exactly, and the people. Like Vietnamese hospitality is one of the best. Vietnamese naturally are very open, and they want to welcome people. Of course, sometimes English could be a problem because
Is it not our first language?
it could be problem, and for guests they might not be able to communicate well what their needs are. But I see that there is this intent in Vietnamese hospitality talent to deliver high class of service. So I think it's just matter of years, and things will definitely improve from here. It's on upward trajectory for sure.
I think that also helped me understand, why there's a time in Da Nang here, right? Where beach resort like Intercontinental in Da Nang, they're 95 to 100% occupancy. What? And they're charging very high, $900 to $1,000 a room. While here in downtown is $12, $20, $35, and the hotels are struggling with a 30% occupancy because everybody see each other low, and then I'll keep lowering down the price. And the more you lower the price, nobody's coming. Okay, so let's move to another topics about the supplies. And you mentioned earlier about the you conducting webinars and training. I consider that training, right? Because not everybody is great at technology, especially nowadays, the AI and ChatGPT era. And Vietnam is looking like a great destination, as you mentioned, where there's a high demand from Korea, from South Korea, from Australia, and different part of the world, in India as well. what Booking.com has done to help these local partners, adapt and capture the demand that is only keep growing in Vietnam. Beside from that giving the training, let's consider like a high season. You know what I'm saying?
Um, okay, to answer that, right, let me talk about three broad strategies which kind of serves as a pillar of how we are delivering our promise to our partners of growing together, right? So first is obviously marketing. A lot of times, we hear from partners that there are these new kind of customers coming to us from booking.com from places we could never even imagine. Like, I have so many Brazilians suddenly coming to my hotel in Danang. And it's surprising to them. But that's only because Booking as a company takes marketing across various performance channels very, very seriously. Like, we work with very advanced algorithms, which helps us to capture customers at the right place, at the right time, during the right demand periods. And we bring them to our hospitality partners who otherwise would not be reachable to these kind of customers. So, one is the marketing side, which is our core of our value we provide to our suppliers. So, what it means is that not just working on performance marketing channels, but also working with influencers, building awareness about hotel partners across certain destinations, coming up with great advertising solutions for destinations, not just hotels, but also today destination management companies can work with Booking and market a destination on booking.com, right? Then we also participate in some of the biggest events, whether it's FIFA World Cup or it's Eurovision contest. We do a lot of branding exercise for Super Bowl in US. And this helps us to create more awareness for the platform where our hotel partners are able to capture more traffic from. So that's the one pillar of what is our value proposition and how do we deliver on that promise of growing together with our suppliers. Second side, I would say, is more towards understanding the new trends which are coming up for the traffic which comes to our platform, what customers are looking for, and providing that research in terms of actionable tactics and strategies for hotel partners to market their own campaign in the right direction. So kind of, making sure that they have the right intelligence and then let them plan their own marketing tactics aligned with where we see a mega trend or a demand. So I mentioned about travel prediction report earlier. So that is like an annual report we do in Asia Pacific around the globe actually. Then a second very important report is sustainable travel report. Now, sustainability over the last few years has come up as not just a trend, but the new way of traveling. I mean, for Vietnamese travelers, almost 96% of travelers have mentioned that they want to travel sustainably. And more than 60% of travelers have actually looked for sustainable options when they were booking their accommodations when they travel. So clearly, when we see customers are wanting to see hotels and book these accommodations which are sustainable in nature, where their operations are sustainable, and there are partners who are doing some great work. They are putting in a lot of efforts in terms of energy conservation, reducing their plastic waste, managing water properly, working with the local community artisans to create experiences. And we try to connect both of them together. So we work with third party certifications like GSTC, ISO, LEEDs. And then if a hospitality partner has a green certification, we let them show that certificate to our customers on booking.com platform. So that kind of also helps us to be the bridge between demand and supply. But otherwise, for hospitality partners who don't know what this sustainability is,
Exactly. Yeah,
what do
that's
I have to do to
yeah.
be sustainable? Because it's so wide. Do I have to just plant trees in my property? What do I do, right?
Yeah, exactly.
we make it clear. So we actually came.
You help them to understand what need to be done.
Absolutely. So we make this word sustainability material for them. They know exactly that there are 5 areas which they need to work on: energy conservation, proper water management, waste reduction, working together with the local community, which will help them to become more sustainable. But even then, what does this energy conservation mean? So then we break it down further into certain operational practices.
For example, the laundry, the electricity consumption.
Correct. What kind of bulbs do you have? So we have a long checklist of more than 30 items under these 5 categories.
And the big hotel, the big hotels like the Marriott, the Hilton,
Yes.
the Intercon, they have their own system of sustainability, which is very wild. I mean,
Yes.
some of the world's leading projects. But what about the small hotel, right? That's what I'm,
Yes.
for me, a person
Yes.
very concerned about the
Yes.
small hotels. How do
Yes.
they help small hotel owners, hoteliers,
Yes.
that can follow that and they have to invest the money, right? Nothing's come free. How do you prove to them that or show them that, okay, if you invest this money, not just you get a green certificate, badges on booking.com, but it's actually long term for you.
Yeah, yeah. So, exactly. That's sustainability is not just about looking at ROI and, just the monetary value of what I'm getting by investing into sustainable operations, but it's about the mindset shift, right? New customers, especially the Gen Zs and even millennials for that matter, they all want to be more conscious when they travel. They want to leave positive footprints, and they want to make sure that whatever money they are spending is being spent with a purpose. That's the mentality. So investing into sustainable operations is not just about reducing your cost. It's also not by just removing plastic bottles and putting one jug of water there is not about reducing cost. It's about making sure that the sensibility of customer who doesn't want to see plastic, who don't want to throw plastic water bottle, is being met. And I think it's all about education, right? And awareness. So again, going back to what I was sharing earlier, we do a lot of webinars and market workshops around these topics. We've come up with a very simple handbook for our partners on sustainability. And that is also available online. So we don't even have to be there to launch it. Partners can simply go to partnerhub for booking.com and download that.
And you don't need
handbook.
to print out and then waste the environment as well. And
That's true.
Hurt the environment on
That's
the tree
true.
and stuff. Yeah.
So yeah, this is how we've been adding more value to our partnership by talking about trends which really drive traffic. And thirdly, I would just say that it's about not just being a platform which brings you business, no, but we are actually facilitators of building this entire ecosystem. So we work with hotel partners, then we do a lot of these community events where we bring hospitality partners from sometimes they even competition, we bring them together, we kind of initiate discussions where they can learn from each other's best practices, we connect accommodations with ground transportation provider, with attractions, so that they can learn from what market is moving towards, and those best practice sharing again can lead to new strategies. So I think being such a big company, in the beginning you mentioned we are not the biggest, but one of the biggest platforms, travel platforms in the world, right, comes with a great responsibility that we have to facilitate this connection and build the ecosystem. So this is how we've been adding value to our suppliers.
Excellent, excellent. Let's talk about the connected trip you mentioned earlier, that now booking.com is airline bookings and transportations and car rental and activity, attraction, everything together. How do you how do you booking.com plan on helping the user experience and the partner, what you call the experience into the entire like end-to-end journey, and do you are applying AI, and how did this help into this story?
Yes. So booking.com as an organization is always at the forefront of technological innovation. That is very important to us. So even before generative AI with Chat GPT became so popular, right? Which only happened in what, 2021,
2 years ago,
2022.
yeah.
Booking.com was using artificial intelligence in a big way. We've had AI engineers, I think, since I joined the company.
Wow.
Yes. So a lot of people don't understand that AI is not just about generative AI, which is Chat GPT. AI is also used on a lot of e-commerce platforms in terms of making your search relevant. Like in past, what would happen is that uh, all the suppliers on our platform, so accommodations in our case, were having a very static ranking, right? If you are rank number one, you stay number one for everyone, whether you are Tanmay or you're Varun Grover or anybody, which doesn't make sense because not everybody wants to stay in that hotel. So, what our AI has been working on for more than a decade now, and with our machine learning algorithms, we detected what a consumer preference is over time. So, if there is a customer who likes to stay in a homestay when they travel to a smaller off grid destination, they don't like to stay in hotel. They like more greenery around, more like a homestay.
So there's no point to put a
local.
5-star hotel on top.
They don't see five-star hotels. They only see homestays.
That
because
behavior based.
it's very behavior based, right? So that's what was driving innovation at Booking for almost a decade. Then came Gen AI, right? Which is mind blowing. I love where technology is taking us with AI. And on Booking.com, we launched AI Trip Planner. So today, even for you, as a Genius customer, if you go to our mobile application, anybody actually, you don't even have to be Genius member. You go there and for your search, just randomly say, I'm looking for a beach holiday with my family of 2 children. My wife loves to have spa in the evening. I would want to have a beachfront property because that's what I fancy or whatever, randomly. And what AI does is that it just takes that conversational message and converts it into relevant filters based on the keywords which that property has in the content on our website and makes the relevant match.
What I know is the booking.com on a website on the app has somewhere around 30 filters, but in fact you have more than 120 filters. But through AI, it will make that filter more relevant to each and every individual.
Yeah.
Instead of going through all the 100 filter on the website, right?
Yeah. And it's not just about those filters for facility. What AI is helping us to do is that we have tons of reviews from travelers, right? More than 300 million verified traveler reviews. on our
300
platform.
million reviews.
Yes.
Wow.
But what happens with that review?
People don't read it.
People who want to read, they read, but otherwise it's just there, right? AI helps us to analyze those reviews for each property, understand what are repeating patterns, what are some of the keywords which are becoming so prominent for that property, and then highlight that as a keyword tag to that property. And when somebody searches for that keyword, the match is made. So that's the capability
For
of
example,
AI.
I would imagine I would type in, I'm traveling with my family, my wife, and my 2 kids. They got a dog.
Yes.
Is this property dog friendly?
Yes. So there's no filter for dog friendly property at the moment. But because some of the customers have reviewed your hotel to be pet friendly hotel, or you've put a picture of a dog in the property, tagged it as we invite to pets, your property will be matched to this customer query, which is mind blowing.
Mind blowing, yes. So you don't need to go through 2,000 reviews, 3,000 reviews, and wow, this is truly what technology can really come in and help not just property owners, but actually the customer that that they search what they're exactly looking for. They don't need to spend 2 hours on Booking.com just to, or not just Booking.com, but other accommodation platform, booking platform, to search for the right platform. Okay. Thank you very much, Varun, for the insights, and I think it's is good for the people to know that if you need this kind of features, you just go to booking.com, the apps, and then you can do the the AI feature, like AI Gen AI assistance features, correct? So for our listener, especially the hoteliers and business owner in the hospitality industry, what can they expect from booking.com, let's say in like 6 to 12 months?
uh, without revealing too many details, right? Because a lot of these things are in process. All I can say is that AI is the future for our organization. So a lot of our um, innovations are happening in the space of AI, whether it's on the customer side or it's on the partner side. How we support our partners to get the right information, right analytics, and market intelligence in place at the right time is what AI will help us to achieve. So, a lot of innovations will continue to happen. So, just stay tuned.
Exactly. Okay. I know. Yes, because there's a thing that ongoing, and there's a lot of things that we're unable to share in front of the screen today.
One thing I can probably ask all partners if they are watching this is to be more mindful that the content is again becoming very important, right? So rather than you, because in hotel industry I see we have this tendency of making language very beautiful, like have us, it's always very flowery, a rejuvenating experience of sitting in front of pool and enjoy the sunset. No, it is important for humans that emotive selling is still very very important when you sell to humans, but future is to sell to agentic AI. So there are chatbots which you need to market to, and they don't understand this language. What they understand is specific keywords. So if you have a beachfront hotel, it should be mentioned as beachfront. If you have a hotel which has a rooftop pool, mention it as rooftop pool, right? If you have a hotel which offers free sparkling wine in the evening, it should show in the picture should be tagged as free sparkling wine high tea or something like that. So I think content is so important now, especially with AI, and that's the only message I would like to give.
The more details, not only in text but in photos, the better it help not only the customer but AI understand it and make relevant recommendation to the customer. Last but not least, I think these are very important questions to especially new hotel owners who wanna join to be a member of Booking.com as a partners. Is that they've been saying that the commission Booking.com is very high. What do you say to
Is it? I wouldn't know because I wouldn't know if it's too high. But I feel that, I mean, it's important to understand where that commission goes, right?
It's actually the revenue and reinvesting on.
Because high could be relative. I know hotel partners who are giving much more discounts to certain tour operators, or they are running heavily discounted 60% off kind of promotions on certain channels. So I don't think when you say that commissions are high, it's not high. We are very much in line with the industry standard for in fact we are cheaper, to be honest, in some destinations compared to our competitors. However, the question is more about where that money goes, and I think where money goes is into marketing and product innovation, because the more we make it easier for customers to book on booking.com by innovating our product, like with the AI trip planner I spoke about, the more traffic we get to our partners.
And then it's like a return on investment.
Absolutely. And you talk to any partner and ask them, where do you get maximum bookings from? I'm very confident about that. It's always booking.com, right?
Yes.
Then innovating is just one thing, right? And converting that traffic for partners is important. But then we don't want to just stop. I think it's also a philosophy for booking that we are humble with what we have accomplished, but we are not content. So we are constantly marketing to various channels. We are one of the biggest spenders of marketing budgets across the travel industry, right? And we make sure that the money we receive from our hospitality partners in commissions is reinvested into growing our consumer base, so that we can get them more and more and more customers and help them to convert those lookers to bookers. So I think that's what I would say to that question, that, yeah, I don't think commissions are high, but it's being used very efficiently, that I can promise.
Yeah, excellent. And last but not least, the last question I would ask you today, and is that for the new hotel openings, and not the big hotel, because the big hotel will be there, but for the small hotels, nowadays they have a lot of ways they can do their own TikTok channels. They have way more distribution channels ever than before. How would you, what would you say to them to be on booking.com, to sell the room there, to stay with booking.com, basically, to the new hotel owner?
Yeah, I think it's a good thing that more and more hospitality entrepreneurs are using best capabilities of online distribution and marketing. I think it's great for the industry overall. But choosing one channel over another is, I don't think it's a choice. I think a successful hotel works on having a very balanced distribution mix. You also need your offline channels, your corporate channels, your OTA channels, your direct channel, um, time to time, right? Because every channel has its own capabilities. Every channel brings you a different kind of, maybe a customer sometimes. And some customers are spending more money with you on probably, peripheral revenue also, not just your hotel rooms. Then there are some customers who are probably just looking for a room. So I think all I'm trying to say is that it has to be a very balanced mix of different distribution channels. And booking.com being such an important player, even if I put myself in hotelier shoes, it cannot be ignored. I think the kind of capabilities Booking has by operating in more than 220 destinations across the world, having more than 43 languages on our platform for customers to book from, having customer service catering to so many various languages, which only keeps getting more and more, it becomes so much important for an entrepreneur to make best use of that opportunity. Get those customers who would never look at your platform, who would never know about your presence. Once you get that customer, be smart, deliver an excellent customer value, get the highest reviews, so that those customers, if return, maybe they'll book direct with you, right? So I think it's more about how can they make sure that their service delivery is so excellent that the customer, if becomes a repeat customer, books with them directly. But to have that reach, global reach, it's important to work with online channels like booking.com.
Very good. Thank you very much, Varun. It's been an honor to have you here with us. It has been a great discussion with you, and we'll look forward to the upcoming session, or we have another webinar that with you. We're more than happy to invite some of our hotelier partners who are our viewers, and well, maybe we can have another episode.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Pleasure is all mine. Always good to talk about what we are doing and adding more value to our partners. So really appreciate this opportunity.
Thank you very much.